Hello. Welcome to Family. We've got your back. So, wow. It's been a day for us. Can you tell?
Yeah, it's Friday, of course, right?
It's my day off, and he took a mental health day.
If you can call it. It is a mental health day. But
we did the floor in our basement and we thought we could get the whole room done or the whole basement done. Oh, we're big.
Yeah, we always overestimate our abilities.
Apparently we don't know how to use a knife and a ruler. But
well, we do.
So the glue.
The glue was the trickiness.
The glue was because I do not want carpet or anything that if water got on it, it would ruin. So if the basement flooded, we'd have to redo the floor.
Yeah,
I'm not for that. And so we picked a product that, an LVP and glue down so that it, doesn't move. It's linoleum, but easy to install. And we had it in our previous house and I loved it. It's
a nice option.
So anyway, did you know that you can get glue on almost every part of your body doing this? See, look.
Well, I thought.
How do you get glue?
Yeah, it
gets
everywhere.
On that.
I wore some holey pants thinking that would be a wise choice, right? But what I ended up doing was gluing my knees to the floor.
Yeah,
and then every time and the hole in my pants are literally glued to my skin. So every time I pull my pants, I feel pain.
Yeah, and did you know that when we were standing there cutting the pieces, I got stuck to the floor. My feet got glued to the floor, and I ripped the skin off the bottom of my feet all day.
So
just so you know, I don't know how professionals install this glue down flooring.
They probably have hundreds of hours of practice.
And they probably have those spiky shoes.
Oh, yeah.
So that they don't get glue everywhere.
Yeah.
That would have been wise. Maybe rubber tipped.
Not for one day, though, or not for 2 days.
No, not rubber tipped. Anyway, all I know is that it is a disaster on our bodies.
Right. But the floor's looking nice.
Yeah, the floor looks good. So anyway, and while we were doing that, we're like, we're having a good time. We turned on music.
Put some Journey on.
Lots of different things. And we just were enjoying the project together. Right?
Yep.
And
even when we made miscuts.
Oh yeah, we're just like, and I'm
25 times.
I'm like, I got out the tin snips, and I'm like, just let me cut it. I'm like, I don't care if it's straight, just let me cut it, right?
The molding will cover all of that stuff.
It won't matter. The molding will cover it, right? And anyway, and after almost 25 years of marriage, we're really,
we can work well together.
We're working well together, and not that that's a new thing, but it's. Okay, no offense, but take a look at us. We're no prize today.
I beg to differ. I think that anybody that can.
If you saw us on the street, you would think,
yes, that
would be. They're not going to win any prizes at the fair, right?
No prizes.
Like when we were engaged and dating and first married, he had hair, and I was skinny. That didn't stay.
Nope.
Hair and thin. I had babies and hormones and whatever, and he has genes from his family, and
that's typically how it works.
Yeah. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, when you're dating and you base your longevity of a relationship I could get married to this person and love this person forever because they're so attractive and wonderful. If you're basing it on shallow things, it's not going to be a very good relationship. And
unless you can make it about something more.
Unless you can develop healthier, deeper things that you're.
But that takes a conscious effort.
Yeah, it does. But because a lot of us, we listen to our baser instincts, the survival instinct and what you're attracted to, and therefore, furthering the species type thing. And so, the best looking and the most talented and the most successful people are the prizes, right? And so, and that's typical of every society. And whether it's animal or human, it's, the peacock with the brightest feathers gets the girl, right? Or whatever, the biggest
vice versa
mating dance or whatever. Anyway, and so studies show that, something I've forgotten. Healthy societies marry. Most people choose to be married, and most people choose to stay married, right?
Yeah.
And whether there's problems or not, they figure it out and they work through it. Yeah. And also they have children.
Right.
So the archaic term is they marry and are given in marriage and they multiply.
Yeah.
Right? So our kids were, like people aren't getting married anymore and they're waiting and they're
looking for better options.
Well, they're getting divorced quicker, right? When they do finally get married. So they introduced us to a word. You've all heard of FOMO, fear of missing out. Well, this is FOBO, fear of better options, right? And so they're not getting married because the people they see, they're flawed, right? They're not fitting every item on their 30, 50, 100 item checklist, right?
Even if it's 5 things.
Right. Nobody's fitting it, right? And they're creating these fake people in their head that exist, and I won't get married or date until I meet this perfect person, and or the better option out there. So they're like, oh yeah, you're a good choice, but what if my perfect match is out there somewhere? I gotta wait for that perfect match.
Yeah.
So that's one reason that our adult kids introduced us to is happening, but also the people with the list, right? They're not finding anybody that meets those criteria because they're looking for the perfect person, right?
Yeah.
And they're forgetting that everybody makes mistakes every day.
Yeah.
That nobody has all the perfect characteristics. Nobody is, people are going to be rude sometimes, and they're going to get upset, and they're going to
have their triggers, whatever that trigger is.
They're going to, be in debt, or they're going to, there's always something.
Yeah.
They're going to love the thing you hate, or, whatever. People are people, and you don't get to make their choices for them. And like we were saying earlier, they change over time. People change.
Even dramatically.
And like me. Like, I don't know anybody who's changed more dramatically than me.
No.
And not just physically, but mentally and emotionally and physically. Like,
anyway, yeah.
My thought processes are completely different than they were when we first got married.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my goals are pretty much the same.
Sure.
But the way I live my life is completely different than the way I did when we first got together. And for me, that's a better thing. And that's a good thing.
It is. Right. And I think too that it's, you marry the person with flaws, and you don't want to change them, but you help each other become better.
You inspire each other to be your best, become your best self, right?
And you're living. You're not longer living for yourself. You're living for the union,
right?
And for your potential family, right? And so many things have to change.
Yeah.
And once again, that's good. It's good for society because you're willing to. I
think there's like fiberglass in my hand. Anyway.
But yeah, so it's really this is why marriage is so important, is because it helps us be, so it forces us to recognize what's better for our family. And right. it stretches our talents in that direction.
Exactly. You're no longer living for yourself. Right. You're living for something bigger than yourself. Mm-hmm. And that helps you become a good person. And that's why we chose to get married in our 20s, was because we wanted to become together.
Yeah.
Instead of become and then get married. And you're, because for us, in our opinion, you're becoming your whole life.
And those first years were really, really stretching us.
Yeah. Well, we almost immediately had a baby. Yeah. And I was sick and no longer useful.
Yeah. She was no longer useful around the house because she was so sick all the time. And
every 20 minutes. Anyway, it was so bad.
And that made me grow my compassion slowly but surely. Sorry, dear. But
you're not going to change overnight.
No.
It's going to be a process. But what we're saying is life is a journey. And it's
best served with people.
Yes. And in our opinion, life is so much better when you have a friend and a partner.
Yeah.
And someone to enjoy the journey with. And
someone to help you, right?
Yeah. So, So the other day, Trent got an assignment. And I knew exactly what he was thinking about that assignment.
I don't remember what this was.
It doesn't matter what it was. Oh. And you came home and you said, guess what I thought when I got this assignment? And I told him. And he said, yes!
That was it?
Right?
I can't remember what the thing was, but I do remember the situation.
Thing.
Yeah.
The music assignment.
Oh.
And anyway, so it was funny because I was like, yep, I know my husband, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen immediately.
No.
It takes years of sharing your thoughts and dreams and just observation of how they react to certain situations, so that you get to know each other and you become one in all ways, right?
And you can anticipate. You can anticipate what your partner's going to need, and you can surprise them.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's very, very nice.
Yeah. So
once again, that does take years.
Yeah. And so right now, we pretty much can anticipate how the other person is going to react and to a surprise. Right.
Yeah. To a certain degree.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And for me, it's Trent's idea of me reacting to things is changing because I am changing how I react. And I react better now than I did in the past. And so it's still kind of a surprise to him when I am good.
That's awful. Not true. It's surprising when you're good.
Well, not good, but you know what I mean. Good is the wrong word. Surprising when I don't make a mistake the first time around. Usually I say something, it's wrong, and then I fix it. More and more I'm saying the right thing the first time around. Right?
Okay, I can understand that.
Yeah. Our son, who's cool and 16, would say, yeah, you never say the right thing. Right? But
yeah.
Whatever.
I think you're saying lots of right things right now.
Oh, yay!
Yeah.
For me. So anyway, but what's funny about that? So I was at the doctor with him today because he needed a physical, because the wrestling coach from our high school saw him working out, weightlifting or whatever it was, and he came up to him and he said, "You need to join the wrestling team." And he's like, "Okay, whatever." 3 times.
3 times.
So Adam finally went to an open mat event. And he wrestled a kid that had been wrestling for at least 2 years or so.
Yeah.
And he beat him because he was stronger, even though he was quite a bit shorter. Right.
And he doesn't know anything about wrestling.
And he didn't know anything.
He's never watched any wrestling.
No.
Except for maybe Scooby-Doo and...
No.
Not
even.
Nacho Libre. That's wrestling.
Yeah, Nacho Libre. That's where he gets his wrestling from. Right? And so he's just really fit. Right? And, because we have that genetic disorder, he's really short. And so he's got a perfect body for wrestling, right? A perfect physique, I guess you could say. The perfect short and strong.
How are you going to tie this in?
No, I'm
just kidding.
Anyway, I'm telling you why I say dumb things. Anyway, so I've lost my train of thought. Now I have no point. Anyway, so
my bad.
I didn't want him to do it because I'm not a fan of the teenagers being calorie counting and not eating so they can make the weight, and I'm like, no, I just want you healthy and starving yourself to make the weight or whatever it is that they choose to do to make a lower weight class so they can be stronger. I'm not a fan of that. And I didn't want him to be so body conscious. Anyway, so we were at the doctor day getting his physical because the coach was like, well, now you're on the team. And he's like, well, yeah. And he liked that feeling that winning gave him, you know, like being good at something hard gave him.
Well,
and he understands how to put the work in that he can be good and improve on his natural talent that makes him so good at everything immediately. And then he can excel incredibly, right? But we were at the doctor was asking him the questions and he's like, okay, so how's life? Like, any problems, concerns, any questions? And I said, do you want me to step out so that you can talk freely with the doctor? And the doctor's like, yeah, you want to, tell me about your girlfriends. Right? And I'm like, oh, I didn't think that was an option. Anyway, and I'm like, well, yeah, if you want me to step out. He's like, no. And I'm like, okay.
There you go.
He's like, there's nothing to report there. I have nothing to say. I'm like, okay, it works for me. Yes. And so for me, normally I would have said something embarrassing.
Oh, probably true.
Right?
Yeah.
But this time I just said, I'll step out if you want me to. And that was, right?
That
was shocking to him. So what I'm saying is, the long story short, people grow and they change and they become something different.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you're choosing a spouse, you need to understand that you choosing to date someone in hopes of changing them, that is the wrong approach, right? It's understanding that they get to choose different behaviors in the future, but if you don't like who they are now, and you want them to become something else, and so you're dating them so you can help them become.
And that's tricky too,
That is so terrible.
But that's tricky because that's everybody that has all those expectations. That's what they're counting on.
But the change relies within the person, not within the partner,
right?
Right? It's like, I'm going to choose what you get to be.
Together, right? There's going to be some changing on both parts,
right?
So that.
Right. But not I'm dating you so you'll become this specific thing. Mm-hmm. And because you're not yet. Like, oh, you drink? I'm going to date you and help you stop drinking. And then we'll be happily ever after because you'll be so grateful that I helped you stop drinking or whatever.
Right.
Whatever. No, that is the wrong approach.
Yeah.
Because yes, they grow and they change, but... You don't get to choose what they become.
Yeah, you don't get to choose what they change.
You can encourage and support and love and help them choose great things, but you don't get to make those choices for them.
And
right?
and it doesn't get to impact your happiness as well. Like you can't. Yeah, so tricky.
Yeah, it's really tricky. And understanding like that happens when you're in a relationship,
Yes.
in a committed relationship, because then you have that safety of trying new things and becoming and knowing that they're going to support you and work hard and love you because you're both working towards becoming better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And you're like, oh, I want to, like both of us, we're applying to grad school right now. Yay! So excited. And we're supporting each other in that.
Yep.
He's not choosing that for me, and I'm not choosing that for him, but I am supporting and encouraging and helping him figure out his doubts so that they become not doubts anymore. What's the word?
Strengths.
Okay, whatever.
I don't know.
I don't know what the word is anymore.
I mean,
we're too tired to figure out English.
If you work on stuff, then you're gonna overcome them, hopefully.
Yeah.
In time.
Yeah. So I don't know. So I guess the FOBO and my perfect match is out there somewhere. Okay, so your perfect match in your head, typically ladies, he doesn't exist.
No.
And there are good people everywhere. Yep. So just find someone that helps
Some of your goals need to align.
Yes, your goals, someone with common goals, someone that you feel good about yourself around as well as feel good about them.
Yep.
And that's kind of pretty much really it.
Yeah, that's basically it.
So don't be too picky, I guess is what we're saying, because nobody is perfect.
Right.
So when you're dating and when you're in a relationship as well, remember, nobody is perfect. And I guess so our assignment for this week, our activity is give people the benefit of the doubt. Cut them a break, you know? And don't be so judgy. and help people achieve their dreams and, be a supportive person so that you can be with someone who is also supportive, because supportive people like to be around supportive people.
Yeah, they do.
So anyway, have a good rest of your day. I don't even know what to say to close this thing.
Have a good week.
Okay, have a good rest of your week. Okay, contact us if you have any questions at familywevegotyourback@gmail.com. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.